Welcome to Immigration Quicktake. This is Ellie Rutledge Silver with the American Immigration Lawyers Association. Congress is back in session next week, and Chen, AILA Director of Government Relations, joins us with a preview of what to expect. But first, there have been indications and news reports that say the White House is considering taking action on DACA. What does AILA know or anticipate happening?
Yes, we are expecting President Trump to make a decision in the upcoming days about the DACA program. What that decision will be is not quite clear, but we are expecting that he will rescind it, whether in full or in part, and that will have a huge impact on the 800,000 DACA recipients. This comes largely due to the threat that the Texas Attorney General and other attorneys general have made to the president that they would bring further litigation against him by September 5th if he doesn't make some kind of decision pulling back on the DACA program. In the meantime, we are seeing actions across the country, and also we will see more actions coming from members of Congress in the upcoming days when they come back from their August recess to lift up the importance of protecting dreamers across the country. This is a huge population now of people who have been here for so long and contributed to their communities, who are working now, and if they were forced to be deported, it would have a terrible impact on the American economy. We are asking AILA members and the public to contact President Trump as soon as possible to tell him to keep the DACA program going. We are also asking that you contact members of Congress and tell them not only to contact the president about DACA, but also to pass the DREAM Act legislation that has been introduced in both chambers of Congress by both Republicans and Democrats.
Thanks, Greg. Late last night, a federal judge temporarily blocked the Texas SB4 law. What does that mean for those communities?
Ellie, the court decision that came down in Texas last night was welcome news. It enjoined the state of Texas from implementing most of the provisions of SB4. And when AILA first analyzed the law when it was passed, we had concerns that are now confirmed by the court that SB4 is unconstitutional. And the court found so, that the law is in violation of the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, as well as preemption grounds in the Constitution. For those reasons, AILA pulled out of Texas for our annual conference for 2018, and we're so proud of the Texas AILA chapter, which has continued to fight against SB4 and to continue to lift up the impact this unconstitutional law will have on immigrants throughout the state. Now, one thing that is just so striking that Texans should really be thinking is why the state of Texas, its government, and its attorney general are continuing to defend this unconstitutional law when its residents are in the middle of fleeing from the hurricane and are in evacuation mode. The state of Texas and its government should really be protecting its own residents. The same thing goes for why the state of Texas is bringing this fight to try to really go after dreamers in their state. When immigrants are contributing so many ways to the economy, to the hurricane evacuation effort, that makes no sense. And we really need to be thinking about what is best for Texas and for our country.
So with Congress returning next week, what will be the biggest objective as they start back?
Ellie, as I mentioned before, the fight to protect dreamers is going to be the huge front and center fight as soon as Congress comes back. Already we see efforts by both Republicans and Democrats to defend the dreamer population. We will see lots of actions coming up in Congress to talk about that population and why they need to have an opportunity to be able to remain here in the United States. In particular, AILA wants to see the DREAM Act pass, and we hope that will see action coming up. The other big fight is that the president is continuing to push for more enforcement funding, and we will see that in the appropriations bill fight that has to be passed by the end of September 30th. President Trump wants more money for his proverbial and ever so wasteful and unnecessary wall. He said he will shut down the government over this wall, even though Republicans even and Democrats are saying it makes no sense and would be a total waste of money. AILA opposes not only the wall, but also funding for additional detention beds and additional ICE and CBP agents. If those increases happen, we know it will just result in enforcement actions being brought against dreamers, against families across the country, people who have been living here for a long time. We cannot let the president get that money, and that's why AILA is continuing to push for that, and we ask that you take action now on our website to stop the funding of Trump's enforcement machine.
Thanks, Greg, for joining me. For the rest of you, please stay tuned for more updates from the American Immigration Lawyers Association.